What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade, basketball analysis coming to y'all with the hottest topic, which is Rui Hachimura getting traded for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. This was mainly because the Washington Wizards had a bunch of forwards and they wanted to re-sign Kyle Kuzma in the offseason or during this period. And Hachimura will be a restricted free agent. He felt like they didn't want him. They didn't want to keep him. He wasn't a priority. He has been a solid player, and when you look at the roster of the Los Angeles Lakers, they don't have as much scoring on the front line. They have guys like Anthony Davis, who's here and there health wise. LeBron James is playing a bunch of minutes at that small forward position. You want him to be able to get some type of rest. Scottie Pippen Jr. just not ready. They have a bunch of guards. It's good to get rid of a guy like Kendrick Nunn, who has been a decent player in his career but hasn't been that good for the Lakers. And that's why they had to give up so many picks, just because he hasn't been that good for them. They still have to get more out of Lonnie Walker. I feel like he has been underperforming for them. Sterling Brown was supposed to be a good upgrade, but he hasn't been that good for him either. Thomas Bryant has been coming along lately, but you rather have AD and him play a certain amount of minutes. I feel like they've really been missing that small forward slash power forward position. It's been a hole there of a guy that can be productive, and I do think Rui can be that guy. He has been a guy that can score with the mid range. He can shoot the three a little bit, not greatly, not something that you can depend on, but he has shown the ability to be able to do it in the future. And I think that that's something that you definitely want him to be. He had averaged 13 points on 75% shooting, 48% from the field, and 33% from three. Last year, he shot 44% from three, which was 2.9 attempts. That's a lot of attempts for him. He usually doesn't shoot that many threes. The meat of his bones is scoring inside the paint and getting out in transition. He also shot 75% from the free throw line, 77 for a career, 35% from three for a career, and he is a double figure scorer that can also rebound the ball decently given the opportunity and the chance, because he only played 30 minutes this season. Last year he played about 22 minutes. This year he played 24 minutes, 30 minutes in his freshman and sophomore seasons, and that was his most productive seasons in my personal opinion. Then he kind of declined. I feel like they need some athleticism, they need some speed, they need some quickness, they need some perimeter help. I feel like Rui can do that. Was he worth 3 second rounders? I think that's a little bit too much for him, especially because you're giving up Kendrick Nunn at the same time. You can probably find a guy of Rui caliber with two of those second-round picks. You probably prefer to get somebody that's better than Hachimura for 3 second-rounders. But if that's the price tag to try to get a quick upgrade, because LeBron hasn't been happy with the roster construction, he hasn't been happy with the aggressiveness of Pelinka and Jeanie Buss. But you do have to be patient, because they rushed the Westbrook trade and they really destroyed the progress that they was building with LeBron and AD. They made that trade and they really put them so far backwards that they haven't really been a legitimate championship contender since. And I don't think Rui, he had some experience playing with Westbrook. He understands how to play with them. He understands how to, play his role. Rui is a humble, down to earth guy that can play any role and adjust to any situation and be just fine. But, he still doesn't fix their shooting problem. He still doesn't fix their scoring problems all the way. But he does give them some size and some athleticism, and a guy that can really produce at a high level when it comes to rebounding and scoring the basketball. And that's something that they were just missing outside LeBron and AD and Thomas Bryant. I think he does give them some of that. Westbrook can help in certain instances when he comes off the bench, but I feel like they have been missing a bench. Their bench hasn't been the best out there either. And, replacing Kendrick Nunn, who's been a guy that was supposed to fix that problem and give them some type of shooting, but he gave them nothing really most games. It just gives you something more. And Rui's going to be hungry. He's going to want to prove himself. He's going to really want to show his value by him being restricted. He wants a contract extension. He wants to be able to get his highest paid salary. So he's going to come out, and you want a player that wants to prove themselves because that's when they play their best basketball. Plus, he's still young. He's only 24 years old. He has room to grow. He has upside. He always shown that potential that he puts in the work. If he's not injured, he is a guy that gets better. You just have to give the time and the patience for him. He's not going to be a guy they're going to rely on to start or anything to me just because their starting lineup needs more shooting more than another guy that's going to be hustle and muscle and physical. But even if he comes off the bench, is better than Kendrick Nunn. You had to upgrade that position, and you had to get some type of athleticism and length at the wing position to back up LeBron. And even if he does start, I feel like he can play with LeBron because if these other guys like Sterling Brown and these other guys can do it, I think that Rui definitely can do it because he played with Bradley Beal and Kyle Kuzma and those guys, and even Porzingis, and he played in that type of style of offense and defense where he was able to fit right in. He didn't fit right in compared to Kuzma because Kuzma was a better player. But, Rui still has that potential that he can be tapped into. So I like what I seen out of this trade. The Lakers finally made a move that made a little bit more sense. Getting a guy with potential, getting a guy with upside, getting a guy that really wants a new home, a fresh start, a new journey to begin, and playing with a guy like LeBron that's unselfish, that can find them on cuts, that can find them in transition, that can give them some AD and LeBron some rest sometimes just because he can come in and give you some dunks and give you some mid-range shots, give you some threes every once in a while, and give you some athleticism. It's just something that this team has just been lacking and just have been missing. They need a little bit more fast pace. They need a little bit more speed. They play in the half court a lot sometimes, and it's just good to get a readjustment and just a fresh breath of air every once in a while in there. And I feel like when you have two guys that want to come at you a lot, it just give you a diverse game plan that you really just didn't have. And Kendrick Nunn was more nonchalant and laid back and more brash. And I think that that's something that Rui is the opposite of, and that's something that, you know, they need to make another move that makes sense like this one. And I don't know if they're able to do it now, but if they can, they need to improve a little bit more just because AD health is always under question and LeBron is getting older. He hasn't been the healthiest since he's got to LA. That's why a move like this makes sense too, because you have a guy that can come in and give you 20 points when needed, just in case LeBron has to go out or if he gets in foul trouble, he can defend and guard multiple positions and he can give you some type of scoring, you know, and then LeBron can come back and not have to worry about, being as relied on. This is a guy that's basically irreplaceable, but now you have something that's more mature, more smarter, than what you had before, which was basically guys that can just do simple things, not guys that can do extremely amount of something. And that's what Rui can do for you. So I love what I seen out this trade. I think it's something that needed to happen. He wasn't the guy that everybody thought they was clamoring over bigger names, bigger guys, centers, and guys that can shoot. They still haven't resolved that problem. But at least they made a move to get rid of Kendrick Nunn, who has really done nothing for them. Add them some size, add them some athleticism and some length and some motor, and a guy that really wants to play, a guy that really wants to prove himself, and a guy that really wants to show that he belongs in this league and he deserves a bigger role. I think the Lakers can give him both and get their cake and eat it too in this situation, just because the trade actually made a little bit of sense from their perspective. Now it's just about can they get another piece that makes even more sense and get AD back healthy. Their record is decent to where they started. They had a tough hand. They had a tough schedule. They got through that, and they still have a chance to be a playing team. And AD hasn't even been healthy for majority of the season at this point. And when he was healthy, he was dominant. Was one of the best players in the entire league. You want to get him healthy for the rest of the season, which is a hope, and get LeBron continue to play at his level, which is an all-star level. And then you want to add good role players to get those guys playing harder and better. And I feel like the role players have stepped up and the role players have been healthier than ever compared to the start of the season. And now you just want to get everybody on the same page, everybody playing at the same level. And then you just want to ride that into the play-in slash playoffs and hope for the best. And I think the Lakers, although they won the title, they just trying to find a little bit of themselves that's left with LeBron and AD as their two pillars of the franchise. And now it's just about getting back to the top. It's been hard falling to the bottom so quickly, which nobody expected because everybody thought LeBron and AD was the one and two best player in the world. So you think in multiple championships, and now they seeing how hard it is to win two as a duo, and they still can get it done. They still have enough to get it done. When it comes to them two being the best players, they got to find that third guy and a good amount of role players, and you got to put the blame on Jeanie Buss, LeBron, and Rob Pelinka for mismanaging this team and putting them in the wrong direction. But they still have time to figure it out, and AD is coming back, at this time, and this should really be the best basketball they have played in a long time. And that should get them back into the playing tournament, which should help them get into the playoffs potentially, which is just something better than what they have been, the last 2 years. And that's something that they should be proud of. Even though all how the mighty has fallen, they still got a little bit of juice left in them. I don't count them as contenders, but they got to make another move. But I feel like this move made a little sense, because Kendrick Nunn really gave them nothing. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, signing out.